Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz at ClassicsToday.com here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And what a joy this is going to be. You have no idea. We have three rather interesting selections in this clump. Here's the clump in question as we work our way in reverse alphabetical order through the letter S. Oh boy, this is going to be a biggie too, where the SCHs are coming up. They're coming up. We're almost there. But first, SH, Shadowfax. Do you remember Shadowfax? Shadowfax is a sort of new agey group on the Windham Hill label. Now, this was a huge deal when I was in grad school at Stanford in the early 1980s. I'm in California because Windham Hill Records was right behind the student housing, right behind Escondido Village, the hidden village. It wasn't so Escondido, I got news for you. It was right off El Camino Real. You just take a left and you're there. But their address was there. I wonder if they have their address here. I mean, it's right behind where I used to live. And they were all over the place in the California New Age universe, and I assume elsewhere too, but I don't know what was happening outside of Stanford University. They write really pretty music that's fun to listen to. You know, they're a small ensemble with, you know, winds and guitars and violins and things like that. And they've got, you know, some vaguely Eastern stuff going on. You've got Angel's Flight, Varsha, Wheel of Dreams, Oriental Eyes, Move the Clouds, 1,000 Teardrops, Ariki, Hummingbird, Spirit, and Marie, or Mary, I don't know what you want to call it. Then we've got Shadow Dance and Ghost Bird and Brown Rice. Well, it's good for you, of course. Distant Voices, A Song for My Brother, New Electric India, Watercourse Way. I mean, you know, I enjoyed this stuff, and it was on constantly. I mean, you heard it everywhere. They were beautifully recorded. I will say that. They're sonically amazing. And they were, you know, a moment. All of the Windham Hill guys were George Winston and, you know, Mark Isham. I mean, one of those people. Isn't he one of those? I think so. I don't remember them all now. It was a long time ago. But I still enjoy the music. I have to confess, I do. And as far away from Shadowfax as could possibly get and still be alive is Roger Sessions. We have a pretty good clump of Roger Sessions down here and quite a bit upstairs. I think he was a major composer. I really do. I think he's an excellent composer. He's never going to be a popular composer. He became an American serialist, a 12-tonist, although he claimed he never wrote a tune he couldn't hum. Apparently his humming was about as appealing as my humming. So I don't know what that means. But his music is atonal, but I find it very accessible. It has humor. It has a biting, sardonic wit. Really wonderful. And you hear him evolve from a quasi-dissonant tonal guy to an atonal guy. And he's interesting. It just interests me. It really does. I find it really captivating. So here we have his... let's see, what's this? His string quintet and canons in memory of Stravinsky for string quartet, 6 pieces for cello, and the string quartet in E minor, 1936. Note the E minor, it's one of his tonal things. And we have, let's see who's performing. The Group for Contemporary Music. This is a Koch release, yes. Koch International Classics. It's like out of print beyond all reckoning at this point. But that's why I kept it, because I knew it would vanish forever. Then we have, let's see, When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed, with the Boston Symphony and Ozawa. This is his setting of that poem, which is quite different from Hindemith's. Hindemith's Requiem is, you know, the same Walt Whitman poem. It's, you know, a poem in memory of President Lincoln, the assassination of Lincoln. And it's a big, huge thing here with soloists, Esther Hines, Florence Quivar, Dominic Cosa, the Tanglewood Festival Chorus. And wow, yeah, major production, which we're not going to get much chance to hear ever again live. Symphonies 1, 2, and 3. This is CRI, Composers Recordings. Remember them? Some of these are mono. We need a really good session cycle to really sink our teeth into, the wonder that was Sessions. Well, into his evolution as a composer. It's so interesting, I guarantee it. Anyway, Symphony Number 1 is from 1927. It's with the Japan Philharmonic under Akio Watanabe. Some of these are mono. The Metropolis did Symphony Number 2. It's a good work. And it was recorded more than once, by the way. And Symphony Number 3, the Royal Phil with Igor Bukatov. I had this on the original RCA issue. I remember it vividly, and I liked it even then. And I was like 10 or 11. I thought it was really, really cool. So there, it's you just listen with open ears, and it's expressive music, and it's approachable, however dissonant it may be. Then we have his Piano Concerto with Robert Taub, which I think is a fine work. It's never going to be performed. It's like 18 minutes long, and come on. And the Francis Thorn Piano Concerto Number 3 with Ursula Oppens. A little bit more viable, I think, in terms of possible performance. We have the Westchester Philharmonic under Paul Lustig-Dunkel conducting on New World. And, this was famous. This was like Hyperion's first ever recording or something like that, or one of its first recordings. It was amazing that they got this. It's the Boston Symphony under Seiji Ozawa doing the Panufnik Sinfonia Votiva, Symphony Number 8, which is really strange, and Sessions Concerto for Orchestra, which is also really strange. And when this came out, I remember everybody thought, wow, it's the best sound the Boston Symphony had ever gotten in like 100,000 years. They were commissioned for the centennial of the Boston Symphony in 1981. And probably Hyperion got this because the Panufnik was on there and he was in England, and it was sort of, being promoted in English musical circles at the time. But it's a classic of unlistenable music, I guess, kind of, sort of. Another CRI thing, the Sessions Violin Concerto from 1935 with Paul Zukovsky, who's amazing, of course, and Gunther Schuller conducting the Orchestre Philharmonique de l'Office de la Radiodiffusion Télévision Française. Whoa! Yeah, sure. And Stefan Volpa's Symphony, which is another sort of 12-tone extravaganza with the Orchestra of the 20th Century under Arthur Weisberg on CRI. Who knows where these things are now? I don't know, but I'm holding on to them with like desperation. And last but not least, finally, Symphony Number 2, once again, but this is with San Francisco and Blumstedt. It's in the Blumstedt box, along with the Harbison Oboe Concerto and Harbison Second Symphony. None of these are bad pieces. The Harbison I find less interesting than Sessions, generally speaking, because Harbison always sounds to me like he's basically writing tunes that he's then trying to uglify with like dissonant harmonies and things like that. It seems to me not a terribly interesting style, but you can decide for yourself, and the Sessions is a wonderful work. And this is a fabulous performance, brilliantly recorded. Thank God we got at least that outdone from a major label. And last but not least, after Sessions, Jose Serebrier, who is not just a conductor, he is a composer of some substance. We have his Symphony Number 2, Partita, from 1958, which is a wonderful work, a brilliant work. His Fantasia for Strings, Sonata for Solo Violin with Gonzalo Acosta, violin, and Winterreise with the London Philharmonic under none other than Jose Serebrier, who is a wonderful conductor of his own works. I recommend listening to these. These Naxos recordings are quite fine, and there's some very, very interesting music on them. The guy knew what he was about. So there you have it, my friends. More from the Overflow room. Coming up next, I think we're going to get to Scriabin. That'll be fun. At some point, either the next one or the one after that. But there's a bit more before we get to Scriabin. So keep on listening, and thank you so much for joining me. Take care.